Hey, I'm Rob for JestaThaRogue and this is the estates, and in the rulebook there it says let's bid and build, and that's pretty much what this game is. You're going to bid for things and then you're going to build those things. And you'll have this big long board in the middle of the table, and this represents the places you can build. You can only build right and building out to the left, as you can see it there. You're going to start in the brown area. Everybody's going to have a pile of these checks. These are money. There's only so much money per player, so that's the number of money in the game. No money goes in the game, no money goes out the game. And you have a bunch of these cubes. These are your floor cubes. These are the cubes you're going to use to build your buildings. And every round is going to be pretty much the same. The active player is going to choose something to go up for auction. Players are going to bid in order to try and win that auction, or pass if they don't want to bid at all. And then the winner of the bid is going to pay the money. They're going to do what they want to do with whatever piece they've just won. And then the next player will take their turn. They'll choose something to go up for auction. And that's sort of how it works. So the things you can go up for auction are, you can have the floor cubes. These are this pile here. You can only use the ones available from the side. So you start with the 3 on the left and the 3 on the right. As they get removed, it's going to expose more, and you're going to move closer and closer to that centre from either end. So there's going to be more sort of floor cubes available to the players as the game goes on, and as they start to disappear from the ends. And then you have an auction. The auction's quite interesting. So what will happen is the opening player, or the active player, will bid. So they'll put something down, they'll pick a number. And then the players in turn order can either increase that bid or pass, and you're only going to go around once. So once the opening player has made their bid, they're not going to get to raise that bid again in the round. And once the final player has decided what to do, the active player then has 2 choices. If, assuming somebody's raised the bid, if nobody's raised the bid, then the active player will get that piece for free. So let's say you bid 1, somebody bid 4, and they're the highest bid, and it comes back round to you. You've got 2 options now. You can either pay that person 4 and you get the bit, or they pay you 4 and they get the bit. Simple and quick, which is important in auction games. So if you auction one of the floor cubes, you put it into the leftmost space on any of the rows. You can play it on top of other floors as long as the number is in decreasing order. If you win one as well, depending on the colour, you might be able to get one of these shares. So this is the purple one, because I obviously bought the purple floors first. So, and because I bought the purple floor first, I was the first player to buy a cube that was purple, I get this. This says I own this purple company, and I am responsible for that company for the entire game. I'll never lose that from to another player, and I'll never be able to gain one from another player. So as soon as people have bought all these, they are now stuck with these for the rest of the game, and it's very important come endgame scoring. You can build up floors as long as the number you're placing is lower than the one you're placing it onto, and you're going to build up like that. The other thing you can put up for auction is a rooftop. These are roofs with random numbers on. You pull one out of a bag, you put it down, you do the auction, the same auction as you do for all the different pieces that you can auction up. You just have this goes to the winner, and they put it on the top of any building that finishes that building off. That's simple. It just puts that roof on top of that building. You can place a building permit. These come in 3 flavours: 1 barrier, 2 barriers and 3 barriers. And the winner of that will put it on one of the rows and will use it to extend or shorten the row of building spaces available by that number. So if you've got the 3 barrier, you can make one of those rows 3 spaces longer, moving it back into the green zone, or you can make it 3 spaces shorter, cutting it off into the brown zone, and meaning not as many buildings need to be built in that row in order for it to be full. You can put the cancel cube up for auction. The winner of that will then get to remove one of the barriers from play, returning things to where they were. And finally, you can place the mayor. This is the top hat. The top hat will go on the street at the end of the row, and that's going to double the value of all the buildings in that row, be it positively or negatively. And that's it. You'll just go around the table, choosing a thing, auctioning the thing, resolving the thing, and you're going to play until 2 rows of the buildings have completed. Now, for a building to complete, it needs to go to the end of its row, which in the case of when the game starts is right up to the edge of the brown zone, so there's 4 spaces in a row. They can obviously be extended or shortened using the barriers. And every single building in that row needs to have a rooftop on it. Or if you run out of floor cubes and rooftops, then obviously you can't finish off any rows, so the game will end then anyway. So now you're going to score each row of buildings individually, but first you see if it's complete or if it isn't. If it's a complete row, it's going to score positive points. If it's not complete, it's going to score negative. So it could be that you ran out of buildings, you ran out of rooftops, you've used the barriers to push all 3 rows back, you've built very high towers, so it is possible that every single row could be incomplete, and therefore everybody's going to score negative points. That can happen. And then you score the buildings. The buildings are going to be scored by whoever's got the cube on top, whoever's got the matching colour share, or company certificate as they're called, whoever's got the matching colour one. So let's look at this one here. You can see the top cube in that tower is a red one. So whoever's got the red company share is going to score that building. You're going to get the number of points for each face in that cube. So underneath that 6, let's say it's 1, 2 and 3, you're going to score 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 6. So that building's going to be worth 12 points. Of course, if it's in an incomplete row, it's going to be negative 12 points. If it's in a complete row, it's going to be 12 points. And you count up all the buildings, and that's going to give you your total. At the beginning of your turn, the first thing you can do in your turn is to gain some illegal earnings. And what you'll do is you take one of your check cards out of your hand and you put it under your end of the board, face down. You'll just tuck it underneath the board. That's out the way. You can only do one at a time, one per round. And each one of those you've got there, obviously can't be used for the rest of the game, but it is worth 1 point for you at the end of the game, and the player with the most points wins. And it is possible that the player with the most points could have a minus score. Obviously it looks very nice on the table, all the cubes pop out as nice bright colours, you can build these nice little towers and it looks very nice. The auction system's great, I really like that, how you only go around once, and then once you've gone around once, either one player's going to pay the other or they're going to pay them, and it's up to the active player to decide who gets to do that. So that's really cool because you can sort of come around saying, okay, I think that's worth maybe, they've bid 4, I think it's been worth maybe 7 to me, but it's worth more to them, so I'm going to bid 7, and if they really want it, they'll have to pay me 7. Yeah, it's really cool how having that set amount of money just stay in the game and just float around from player to player. And also, I hate auction games where the auctions just drag on and on and on, and obviously in this game it doesn't because they're all very short, which is really cool. I like that you can mess with the other players, so you can buy cubes that maybe you don't necessarily need in order to put them on top of a row you don't think it's going to score. So you're basically giving control of a building up to another player while adding points onto it. Maybe you can put a roof on it as well. And if that row isn't going to complete, it's going to be worth minus points. So you can sort of screw them over that way, which is cool. The only thing I didn't like about this game is I don't know how it's going to end. I can't see far enough into the game. I don't know if anyone can, about which rows are going to complete. So I just feel like I'm just building stuff and putting it out there and then crossing my fingers that the game goes my way. I don't feel like I was in control of doing anything to make sure that the game was in my favour towards the end. Because if I get a high scoring building and then put a nice big point roof on it, because the roofs are valued 1 to 6, and it's a random draw what that roof's going to be worth, so you don't really know. So maybe I put a 6-point roof on top of a big building, big stacky tower of buildings. I've done something really good there. I've created this good tower that's worth a lot of points. Then all the other players are just going to say, okay, that row's not scoring. We're going to make sure that row doesn't complete. And then it's up to me to try and complete that row on my own by placing buildings and placing roofs. And hopefully other players have got large buildings in there, so they want that one to score as well. So we can both push each other to, help each other in order to finish that row. But I don't know. I can't see how I have any control over that. It's basically fingers crossed and hope that people do what I want them to. And why would they? Because it's that kind of game where you don't do that. And I don't like not being able to see that clear. It was just a bit meh for me, unfortunately. That is the Estates. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JTR Podcast, to find the blog and podcast at jtrpodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.